Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Hidden Agenda. We're going to keep this one short because I'm just going to put some information out and address some rumors floating around, and I'm going to kind of speak kind of bluntly to everybody about stuff. I'm just kind of a little bit tweaked about some of the conversation that's going around. So here, we're going to start this thing here off. The bona fide Republican conversation that's going around right now. Okay, let me explain something to you. What we shared the other day on the Facebook page was pretty simple. We put out information, and I'm going to come back over here, and I want everybody to understand this here. When we put the sheets out there about the people who are bona fide, if you read at the very top, data is from previous Henderson County elections. Candidates may contest if they lived in a different voting district in these elections and provide proof of voting. Okay, now I know there's already been a question about Jacob Feehan as being a bona fide candidate. Again, data is from previous Henderson County elections. There's nothing in Henderson County elections for Jacob Feehan's voting record. None. Candidates may contest if they live in a different voting jurisdiction in these elections and provide proof of voting. If anybody's got proof of voting, show it to us. That's all it takes. We'll go in here, make the correction, and fix the problem. But right now, we are going by what is on the Henderson County voter list because this is an election in Henderson County. So we didn't go back outside the lines because what are we supposed to do? Check every single election commission across the whole country? That's just insane to even think that's going to happen. But we left it up here to say, hey, if there is a problem here, we will correct it. You just need to provide us proof of it. And no, just because somebody tells me that they've done something, that's not going to be. I need to see proof of it because everything in that list that we shared up there, those screenshots, those pictures of this, is all verified through voters list, period. That's it. You know, if anybody wants copies of the voters list, let me know. I'll be more than happy to get them to you. So any kind of things being put out there that we're not putting out factual information, prove me otherwise. And I'll tell you this right now. If you want to dispute anything that we share up here, you tell me the time and the place. I will show up. I will bring a microphone and a camera, and we'll go live stream, and you can debate it with me. I don't care. I'll go to where you are. You don't have to come to me. Bottom line is we do a lot of research on our own. Nobody pays us to do this here. We don't get paid for what we do. We do this here because we're trying to make sure that the people in this county are educated on what is happening so that they can make conscientious decisions that are in their best interest. The people need to be aware. This has been a problem since we started this page. Is all people want to do is attack character and say that we don't do anything, but yet they don't provide any proof to substantiate their claims. It's just a bunch of mouth running with nothing. So that's the reason that we share information that we have, is because we have vetted it. There's a ton of stuff that we don't even put out simply for the fact that we can't vet it. And if we can't vet it, we're not sharing it. So that's where we are with that there. Now, I also want to continue in with this bona fide conversation so people understand something here. We're not sharing this information to bias an election in any way, shape, form, or fashion, regardless of some of the conversations we've heard. If you look at those sheets that we shared, every single candidate is on those sheets. We did not pull punches. We put everybody up there. I have friends on that sheet. I have people in there I support. And guess what? They're not bona fide. But it doesn't matter. We shared everybody. We didn't share any bias. We didn't sit there and go after certain candidates. That's all a bunch of hogwash. That's all they can argue about. Again, we didn't show any bias. We shared it for everybody. Now, something else in this here that is very important, because this has been a big topic of conversation too. I've talked to other people in the county who's received similar phone calls. People are asking about voting. No, we are not telling you not to vote. We aren't telling you to vote. That's your choice to make. What we are doing is educating you on what the law says. We don't make the law. That's already made by the legislature. What the law states is what the law states. And I am going to read this here to you, because this is going to be the same thing I'm reading to you is going to be at your voting precincts. You're going to see this signage, the same thing that I'm reading to you. This here is in regards to being a bona fide Republican, and this is a Republican primary. And I'm gonna bring something back to you in just a minute here. I'm going to read two things to you. This is 2 Tac 7 Tac 115, residence requirements, primary election voting requirements. So this is primary election voting requirements is what we're looking at here. Subsection B. And this is what is on the signage at the polling precincts. A registered voter is entitled to vote in a primary election for offices for which the voter is qualified to vote at the polling place where the voter is registered at. Okay. That's saying you can vote in this primary if you're voting at the polling place where you're registered. I mean, that's just common sense here. This is where the language gets into. The voter is a bona fide member of and I'm emphasizing and because this is something that's different than the signage. The voter is a bona fide member of and affiliated with the political party in whose primary the voter seeks to vote. Or at the time the voter seeks to vote, the voter declares allegiance to the political party in whose primary the voter seeks to vote, and states that the voter intends to affiliate with that party. So let me break this here down. Number one is when you look at the signage at the polling precincts, it states the voter is a bona fide member of or affiliated with the political party in whose primary the voter seeks to vote. Or means you can be one or the other. But according to law, state law, you have to have both requirements here. You have to be affiliated and you have to be a bona fide member. That's what the law reads. Now, I don't care if the governor comes down here and says, oh, it's okay for you to vote. You know, we're not going after anybody. You know what? I doubt they'll go after anybody. But I'll say this here. If I was to vote in one of these elections here, I guarantee I'd be the first one they slap in handcuffs if I was in violation of that state law. So you are voting at risk, which is a major, major issue in this country because this really impacts how people vote. Now, the other thing is, or at the time the voter seeks to vote, which means when you go to vote. I mean, that's what it reads. The voter declares allegiance to the political party. Well, I don't know who you're supposed to declare allegiance to when you go to vote because the election commission is nonpartisan. So are you going to get a receipt to say, hey, you know what? I got a little card here that says I swore allegiance to the Republican Party, so I'm legal to vote and I'm not breaking the law. I mean, if you don't have a receipt for it, then if somebody comes in and questions it and you say, well, Well, I did swear allegiance to so and they come back and they don't substantiate it. Well, guess what? You again broke the law, and you have nothing to do to show that you didn't break the law. So this is a serious issue that needs to be addressed quickly by the state legislature, because if they do not, anybody who votes, I mean, I'm going to say this probably the bona fide and affiliated voter base is probably so small. I mean, it really wouldn't make I mean, you probably wouldn't see many people voting if everybody was following the law here. Again, we are not telling you not to follow the law, because I'm telling you right now, I do know people are telling people to go ahead and vote, and it's okay. Politicians are telling people to vote. Politicians do not supersede what the state law says. I'm just letting you know you're voting at your own risk until the state legislature gets in here and corrects the language in this here. And, you know, at the end of the day, what this whole thing was about was to try to control, you know, people. I guess that they're just making sure that they were getting Republicans voting in a Republican primary, which, you know, I mean, this is another thing, too, that kind of gets in past the primary side of things is we know, let's look at Henderson County. Right now, in the race right this moment, there is 56 candidates in the Republican primary. There's only two that's going to be in the general election, and that's going to be a independent candidate for a constable. I can't remember what position. I think it was 4, maybe 5. And in the mayor's seat, there's an independent candidate running in the general election as well. Those are the only two people that are going to be transferring, that the Republican candidates are going to be transferring. I don't know why they don't just do a popular vote here and eliminate the primaries. I mean, bottom line is we're getting a bunch of people, and what's the difference if they put the R in? You know, all you're doing is electing the person that you want to go back forward to represent you as a Republican. But now we're dealing with the primaries that are tainted because we have 29 of the 56 candidates are not bona fide and meet what the Republican standards are. Now, I also want to come in here and explain something else to you. The Republican GOP has bylaws, and I'm going to read to you what it says. Article 9, Section 1. For purposes of this article, a bona fide Republican is defined as an individual who, A, is actively involved in the Tennessee Republican Party, the county Republican Party of the county in which the individual resides, or a Tennessee Republican recognized auxiliary organization. That's A. So, is anybody here involved in the Tennessee Republican Party, the county Republican Party, which would be Henderson County's Republican Party, or a TRP, the Tennessee Republican Party recognized auxiliary organization? You know, how many are actually, you know, actively involved is the terminology they use here. B is a registered voter in the above noted county, which, I mean, everybody's pretty much who's voting is going to be a registered voter. And C, who has voted in at last 3 of the 4 most recent statewide Republican primary elections in which he is eligible to vote. The key there is statewide. We're not talking about local elections. We are talking about statewide Republican elections, primary elections. That's the difference there. It's not about, you know, whether you vote in primaries here in Henderson County. It's got to be the statewide elections. That's their language in identifying who is a bona fide Republican. And I'd be willing to bet money most people are not bona fide Republicans because they're not actively involved in a state or county or Tennessee Republican recognized auxiliary organization. Most people would fail that litmus test. So, and this is a problem. This was created by the legislature. In essence, created it by creating this law, criminalizing people for voting and they're not in accordance with what the Republican Party says on their bylaws. I mean, we don't make this stuff up. All we're doing is sharing it with you. But that's the gist of it. I mean, if you want to take a risk at voting, fine. If there's somebody that doesn't like you and decide to come back in and say, hey, you voted and you weren't supposed to vote, let's issue a warrant for the arrest and you deal with it as you come along. Yeah, you can probably fight it, but you know, it's and even that is even under question right now because there's legislature on the floor. There's a bill on the floor. I haven't checked on it recently to see where it's at, but the Attorney General is trying to get it so you can't come back in and sue the government for a violation of your constitutional rights, and that's exactly what this would be. So hell, if that thing passes, you get arrested. You can't come back and sue them over that. It's so it even lessens up it really puts you in a bind. And again, this is not about going after the Republican Party. This is statement of fact, plain and simple. That's it. There's no bias in it. This is just what it is. So with that there, you understand where we are coming from with the bona fide. And again, if anyone who contests the information we shared, simply provide us proof of your voting record, and we'll move forward with it, and everything is fine. We'll take and correct it. We'll even issue an apology because we made a mistake the other day with Commissioner Blake Stanfield. We forgot to highlight his. So we edited a post, and we even sent our apologies to Blake. And Blake, again, I apologize to you. That was an oversight on our part, but it's that simple. So now the second thing we're going to get into is candidates. Now I'm going to tell you something. This is something that I've been hearing a lot of is, and we even heard this here. I think Tracy Grisham even made the comment that, he was advised, some people was telling him not to come up here and some people was telling him to come on here. Bottom line is this, if you're going to listen to a few people who's going to tell you not to come on this podcast, that's fine. So be it. That is your prerogative. Do so. What I am doing now is Monday, which is going to be March the 9th at 7 a.m., if you have not reached out to me by that point in time frame, you're not going to get a spot on the podcast. Now, we have added some new people in there today. We've got Don Eubank running for Commissioner District 2. Now, Don was scheduled for Tuesday, but the county pulled up and having a meeting that night, so we're going to be there to record that meeting, and I didn't think it was fair to Don to take and do a podcast at the same time a live stream video is going on, because it wouldn't be fair to him as far as viewerships. So we've actually got this here rescheduled in. Hold on just one second here. I got a call coming in. I'm going to grab this. Hello? Hey. Yeah. I'm live right now. Yeah, I'll call you back. All right. My apologies. All right, I'm getting back on with you guys here. Okay. And like I said, so we've actually rescheduled Don to April 13th. I'm going to say this here. Gary Ross has reached out to me. He is on vacation, and I'm extending Gary past that deadline because he's not going to be back in to sometime on the 9th, so I don't expect him to reach out to me until a day or two after he gets settled back in. He's on vacation, and hope you're enjoying your vacation, Gary. Thank you for responding in the very beginning. He answered pretty quick, so we're going to make sure that we get Gary up here. And let me see here who else we've got coming on. We've got Will Davis going to be running for commissioner in District 4. He's coming on April 15th. And other than those two, on Thursday, March the 26th, we're going to have 3 commissioner candidates coming on for a roundtable discussion and a Q&A session. I'm not announcing who they are at this moment. We'll get that when we go live. So it's going to be kind of a surprise on Thursday, March 26th. And again, and that one will be at 6 p.m. You can go back in and look at the feature tab on our page, and you can see we've got 2 posts up there. One is the YouTube channel link, and the other is the link to the candidates that we've got who's scheduled to come on. I know I've had some other candidates. Blake Stanfield has reached out. Brad Atkinson has reached out. So I expect we'll probably have some more that will join in before the Monday morning deadline. But this is my philosophy here. This page, again, we're not showing any bias. Oop. Hold on just one second. My battery's about to die. I need to plug in. Taking longer than I thought. Okay, I'm back. My apologies for that there. I had to get plugged in. So, bottom line, like I said, Monday, this Monday at 7 a.m., if you have not reached out to me, you won't be coming on the podcast. That's just it. I'm not going to put a lot more of my time into this here to give candidates an opportunity to talk with citizens. I will be out of town early Saturday morning and getting back in late Sunday night. You can shoot me a text, call me, send me a message on Facebook. My number is 731-307-8408. So we can get set up from there. I'm going to say this about candidates. You know, we learned back during the city election when we started having these podcasts. Every candidate that did not come on our podcast didn't win. I mean, that's just the bottom line is, you know, whether you think this carries any weight or not, that's totally up to you. I don't care. But here's my biggest concern is if you can't come on this podcast, and we have not been showing any bias towards anybody. We've been equal and fair across the board in how we're doing these things. If you cannot come on this podcast and address the people that you hope to represent, then that tells me where your priorities are. It's not really about it's not really about representing people. It's about representing your interest. And you know, I just said what I said. That's just the way it is. But yeah, for all my naysayers out there and who come after the taxpayers page and come after me, you know, again, anytime I challenge each and every one of you, anytime you want to refute the information we put out here, you name the time and the place and I'll show up and I'll bring the equipment and we'll go live and we'll have a debate. One thing I do is I spend a lot of my time doing this here. And the only reason I do this is one reason. I'm not asking for any votes. I'm not being a politician. I have no desire to be a politician. I am helping people because they need help. I'm helping people because other people turn their back on them. And this is what I feel that is an oath that I took, that when I took it, had no expiration date. I am trying to defend your rights. I am trying to stand up and help you out. And I will continue to do that because I believe in my life that that's the right thing that I should do, and that's how I'm guided to do it. So anyway, you know, the challenge is out there for anybody who wants to refute anything we have to say. You name the time and place, and I'll be there. Other than that, that's the information I wanted to put out tonight. I'm sorry it kept a little bit longer than I thought. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful weekend, because we won't see you again until Monday night when we go live with the City of Lexington meetings that they're going to have. I think there's going to be two meetings actually Monday night. One's going to be a special call, and one's going to be the utility meeting. But we'll, and I think that's how they're going to go about it. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll share the agendas as they come across. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for you people who actually pay attention and want to know what's happening in your county and want to know what's in your own best interest. That's, you know, you take the information we give you and you discern it for you, how it's best for you. But that's it. Y'all have a great night, and we'll catch you on the flip side.